Hey everyone, welcome to episode 6 of Conversations with Couples. This is where we are interviewing couples in our church just to talk about their marriage and to learn a little bit about who they are, but more importantly, to learn a little bit about their marriage and what we can learn from listening to them and hearing their story. So today with us, we have Hank and Michelle Moore. How are you guys?
Doing well.
We're good. We're good.
Good. I know, just like everyone else, you're super excited to be on here with me. I know you just couldn't wait. You couldn't wait to be here.
I'm waiting all day. Had a countdown on my phone.
I'm sure you did. Well, do us a favor. Everyone watching this may or may not know who Hank and Michelle are. I know you guys have been a part of the church for a while, but just kind of tell us a little bit about yourselves. Tell us about your kids, just kind of where you are and stage of life and work and all that kind of good stuff.
Okay. So Hank and Michelle, we've been married for 28 years in May. We have 2 daughters. Madeline is 24 and Claire is 21. Madeline is in school. She's going to be a nurse. And so hopefully she'll finish in November, and Claire should graduate in December and go on to grad school. So that's a little bit about us.
Yeah. So are you guys both employed outside the home? What are y'all doing?
Well, I had a small business for about 20 years, and then a couple years ago, I kind of hung it up. So I like to say I'm on a bit of an extended sabbatical right now, and we'll see where God leads me, but so far, so good.
Very cool.
And Michelle?
I used to, I was a school teacher in Allen for about 5 years full-time, and then I did a few years part-time. I had a job share, which was wonderful. They don't do those anymore. And so now I just have been at home, and I just keep myself busy with lots of other stuff.
Yes, you do. I know you do several things with my wife, some food pantry stuff, special friends ministry stuff. So she tells me stories about y'all all the, no, I'm just kidding.
She's not supposed to do that.
No,
what happens at the food pantry stays at the food pantry. Okay?
Right. All right, we're going to do some easy questions first, and then we'll get into some of the hopefully the more deeper questions. But so, if you remember, what did you do on your first official date together?
We discussed this prior to this interview, and I don't think this was our first official date, but it was the first time we were out together, and it was a children's play of the Nutcracker.
Because I had been working at a daycare preschool over the summer. And so all these little children that I had gotten to know were putting on a production of the Nutcracker. So we went to that, and then we went to, do you remember where we went to eat?
Pizza.
Mazzio's Pizza in Greenville, Texas, and had, so that was our first official, just the 2 of us together.
So did you guys know each other growing up, or how did y'all first meet?
We met at school. We met in college. We met at a formal function that I was there with someone else.
And I was there with someone else.
And that was the first time we met. It wasn't like, sparks and, I was focused over here and she was focused over there. And but then after that, we started to talk and got to know each other a little bit better, and it just evolved.
Cool. So it wasn't necessarily love at first sight.
No, because it developed over, we had just mutual friends that were hanging out together, and, his girlfriend had to go away, and then the guy I was seeing, that didn't last. And so, but he's still friends with that guy. So that's kind of fun.
Nice. Very nice.
That's good.
Yeah, good. Well, where is your, Hank, I'll ask you this. Where is Michelle's happy place? When she just wants to be happy and just kind of doing her own thing, where is that?
I think her happy place is traveling with her mom and her sisters. She loves to travel, and I don't want to say get away from the kids and myself, but just go and be free and enjoy them and see new sights.
Yeah, for a while.
Get away from you and the kids. We'll say it.
just anywhere away. No,
yeah.
We would go on like a fun trip every year, my mom and my sisters, you know, all over. And so that's good.
Very good. Well, and Michelle, where's Hank's happy place?
Okay. Hank likes to do projects that involve power tools.
All right.
Okay? So if he's doing a project and he has the correct power tool and it is working correctly, then he's in dreamland.
Nice.
Yeah, there's a lot of conditions wrapped around my happy place.
Yeah, so really be happy.
Yeah, if all of those things fall into place, then he's in dreamland right there. So,
very good. What are some of the things that you guys like to do together? Just some fun stuff that you enjoy doing as a couple.
I think just in general, we like to spend time together. I mean, it doesn't matter if we're going to the movies or eating out or vacationing, visiting family, whatever it might be.
Yeah, lately, since COVID, we started taking the dogs on walks every night, starting in March when the weather was lovely. And now they harass us every night to still go on their walk. But we enjoy it. You know, it's something that we get to go do by ourselves and chat and just kind of talk about the day. So it's good.
Good. So we talked about how you first met, not necessarily love at first sight, but what kind of, as you got to know each other, and I don't think this was one of the questions I sent you, so I'm throwing you a curveball. As you got to know each other, what kind of, obviously, you know, there's the initial physical attraction to someone, but what were some of the things that you began to really appreciate about one another as you got to know one another? What did you see in him? What did you see in her?
You want to go first?
Sure. Hank stood out because he is a very serious person, and he's very direct and very I don't know if meaningful is the right word about what he says. He's very intentional. Mm-hmm. And so when you're in college and you've got college guys doing all the college guy stuff, mm-hmm. I mean, you could tell he was just focused. He knew what was important, and just a lot of integrity. Like, guys were doing crazy stuff, but he wasn't, you know? And so it just really, you know, you could see a lot of his character.
Very cool. Way to go, Hank.
For Michelle, I would say just extremely hardworking, super smart, beautiful, and just a kind person, sincere. And I could see the future in a sense that I knew that she would be a good mother. I knew that she would be a good wife.
He was serious, serious. He had focus, you know?
Yeah, I guess most 19-year-old guys aren't thinking about those kind of things, but I think I was. I knew what I was looking for, and she fit in that mold, if you will.
That's good. I think that's the thing that's missed a lot. It seems to be nowadays is not that you have this list, but you know, you have qualities that you're looking for and people that you might want to be in a relationship with. And sometimes I think people settle, or they're going, but especially on the main things, we don't need to be settling. That's excellent. So 2 kids, and they're, you know, young adults now. Tell me what it was like on your marriage, raising those kids. Was it always, you know, we saw eye to eye and everything was hunky dory in your marriage while you were raising these girls? Just talk a little bit about that.
Well, we have always been a team. Mm-hmm. I mean, so it's never been, I'm doing it this way and I don't care what you think. I mean, we always came together. I mean, he trusted me a lot with all of that because he worked a ton. Mm-hmm. And so I was with the kids a lot more. So he trusted my judgment, but it was always a team, and we're going to try to do what we think is best together. We agreed on most things, you know, but it wasn't easy. I mean, raising kids is not easy. It's not easy.
We never really had any big blow-ups on any kind of, you know, we should do this. She wanted to go another direction. We knew that, you know, the important things. We were just aligned.
Right.
It wasn't, there was no friction at all,
Right.
trying to figure out what we wanted for our children.
When the girls looked at your marriage, what was it that you hoped that they saw in the two of y'all? I mean, I realize as young girls, they're probably not thinking much about that, about mom and dad's marriage, but as they begin to get older, what was the main thing that you wanted them to see in your marriage?
We're not divided.
Good.
We're one. And so they know that we like to spend time together. Like if I have to choose, I'm going to choose him and he's going to choose me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they know that we love each other. You know, they hear us say that to one another. And I don't know. What do you think?
They know that we love Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
They know that he's an integral part of who we are, and I think they see us treat each other in a way that's healthy.
Right.
Yeah, we don't like, we're just careful about how we speak to one another. And so I mean, and I know a lot of people will say, well, we don't fight in front of the kids. We really don't, but not that we don't fight that much at all, but we're just very kind to each other in front of them, and all the time, but especially in front of them.
Right. That's good.
So I hope that they've gotten an idea of what they want their marriages to look like.
Bingo. That's crucial. So you mentioned fight, conflict. What is, even after how long, 28 years, is that what you said? 28, 29 years? After all that amount of time, what is one conflict or conflicts that just still are there? I mean, they still keep coming up. Those are things that you guys have to deal with even after being married for that long.
You know, like you said earlier, you kind of gave us a little preemptive look at some of the questions you might ask. I would have to sit here and like fabricate something to tell you a conflict. I mean, like,
I thought of one.
Okay.
I thought of one because we're sitting on the back porch, and I like for the back porch ceiling fans to stay on all the time. And he does not. And I have done the research, and it costs about 15 cents a day to run the ceiling fans. And I just want the back porch fans on. And if he walks by, he's going to turn my fans off.
There's no one outside.
I know.
The dogs aren't outside.
But I feel like
outside.
If the porch is cooler, it's got to be cooler inside the house too. That's one thing we just can't agree on, or the ceiling fans on the back porch.
For the most part, her logic is spot on, but maybe not in this case.
Maybe not on that.
The research. I did the research.
Okay, so then I don't want people to make the mistake and say, well, marriage has just been easy for Hank and Michelle, because that's not true, is it?
No.
I wouldn't say that. I mean, I think the challenges have come like between us, like our relationship has never ever been a problem. Like we have not had, well, maybe one time I stubbed my toe and got in trouble, but for the most part, our relationship has been very stable. It's usually like outside circumstances that are coming in that are trying to affect what we have, and so we have to react. And
when you're raising kids, you're exhausted, and there are things that happen that stress you out. Mm-hmm. There are situations that you have to deal with, and I mean, so that can cause stress between us, but we've always been able to stick together. But no, it hasn't been easy. We've had,
and I think that's, some people think that, well, we shouldn't have conflict. Every couple has conflict. And I think what makes couples successful is how they deal with that, how they manage that. And you guys have mentioned a couple of things there. One is just, you watch what you say to one another, even, like, especially in front of the girls, but even just in general, you don't try to cut each other down. You're not mean to each other. You're trying to take care of each other. But then also, I love what you said, Hank, a lot of the conflict maybe came from outward things, external pressures. And so that means you have to take care of your marriage, put some guardrails, put some boundaries up to say, hey, we got to make sure we're not letting this external stuff, divide us or pull us apart. So that's
Well, and something that I've heard other people say is, don't go to bed angry.
Mm-hmm.
And I sometimes am better if I can sleep on whatever it is that's upset me, because you process things when you sleep, and I wake up the next day and I kind of have a different perspective. I can see things maybe from where he's coming from. So we're not quick to anger.
Good.
We kind of think it through.
Yeah.
I think
go ahead, Hank.
When there is, like, if there is a point of, we're on different pages for whatever reason, it's like she says kindly what it is she wants to say, and I say my piece, and then we leave it. It's not like we carry it with us for the rest of the day. I mean, it's like it happens and it's over, and it's really nice because I'm not worried about, she's still angry about something that happened 3 days ago. I mean, usually it's 2 minutes later, we've both moved on.
Well, and he can't remember what happened 2 or 3 days ago.
So you can just tell him anything. Hey, I won that argument, remember?
Seriously.
And we don't keep score, Jimmy. There's no keeping score.
That's right. Attaboy. You've learned some things. That's good. So tell me a little bit about some things that maybe you've just kind of noticed, that mistakes that you've seen other couples make. And I'm, obviously I'm not telling you to call out anybody, but just things that you worry about for couples that man, that I see them doing this and I wish it was different for them, or I wish they would do some things different.
The world that we live in today, I mean, I feel like that there's a group of people that seem to be more concerned about the perception of their relationship than the reality of their relationship. For me, the only person that really matters in this relationship is, well, my wife, of course, and then my children. They're on the peripheral. So if Michelle is content with our relationship and I'm content, I don't really care what anybody else thinks, because I know that the dynamics in every relationship are different. So what would work for you and Shonda may not work for Michelle and I, and vice versa. Right. So I guess my thing is I try to stay focused on what's real and here, and not so much public, like
Facebook and Instagram and what you're putting
out
there.
Tools. Those are great tools, but I when I was a part of the Facebook family, I've told Michelle I would, see my friends post about a vacation with their wife and how much they love them, and like 2 weeks later they're getting divorced. And I'm like,
wait a second,
what just happened? And so I don't really get into that. And I just wish people would really focus on what's true and real. And I can't, maybe what I'm seeing out there is true and real, and that's wonderful. But I think there's just a game that people play to make things appear one way when really what's happening may be different. And so try to keep it real, I guess.
That's good. That's real good. Matter of fact, if you don't mind, I may tweet that later. People care more about the perception of the relationship than they do the actual relationship, or work on that. That's good. That's good. If you were going to go back to your wedding day and tell yourself, you're going to go up to yourself and give yourself some advice about what, knowing what you know now, going back to Hank on day one and Michelle on day one of marriage, what would you tell yourself? Hank, I'll let you go first. What would you tell yourself?
This is the best decision you're making. Like,
attaboy.
Second best. I'll put my relationship with Christ first, but this was by far the best thing I did for myself. I don't know, to try to put it into words, I'll get emotional, but it was good. It was good.
Awesome. Michelle?
Mine, so I went to a wedding, a very small wedding, because in COVID, all the weddings are small now.
Right.
And the bride and the groom had written their own vows. And the vows were just wonderful. I mean, they were the sweetest, kindest, and it was just from their heart of how they felt about their spouse. And it just reminded me that you always need to remember who that person is that you fell in love with. Because I mean, things are going to be hard or stressful, or and you don't want to lose sight of that person that you fell in love with and that you just couldn't wait to be married to. And I was thinking for that couple, I mean, it would be great for them every year on their anniversary to reread those vows to each other, you know, just as a reminder of this is how we felt about each other in the beginning. This is how it all started.
Yeah, that's great. That's good. So I'll close. This will be my last question, let you guys off the hook. How would you say your relationship with the Lord, your personal relationship with the Lord, how has that impacted how you love one another, care for one another, treat one another? How has it impacted your marriage?
Yeah, I mean, I think hugely. I think that, you know, for me, I get to see her loving God and loving neighbors and loving them well. And I am the beneficiary of that relationship that she has with God, like the grace, the compassion, the forgiveness, all those things I get from her because of her relationship with God. And I often think about individuals or couples that are, you know, that are out there struggling without him. And I can tell you that, I mean, I'm just not that good a person. Like I can't, he makes me so much better. And I know he makes her better. Mm-hmm. And I know that greatly impacts the relationship that we have together, having him centered. And so.
Well, and I mean, I think that's perfect, because if you're trying to follow Christ, then that's going to pour out into every relationship that you have. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you're trying to follow him, and it's just going to be an overflow of what you do. But also, you know, us, you know, we've been a part of this church, but just any church the entire time we've been married. And it's been great we've had friends that have either started off young like us, that are still married, or other couples that we were able to see how their marriage was impacted by their relationship with Christ. And we surrounded ourselves with that, you know, with those influences and those models. And that was huge, because I mean, if you got to be careful who you model your marriage after, you know, and you've got to look for those godly influences instead of just maybe what the world says.
Right.
So
great. That's great. Any last words, any last piece of advice you'd like to give couples before we end this thing? This is your chance.
Be intentional, love well. I mean, I know I love special occasions. I love birthdays and anniversaries, but there's 363 other days in the year. And I think to just focus and you know, pour your heart out on those days is not a great plan for success. It should be more intentional than that, and it's doable. It's possible. So.
Yeah. Well, and I was just telling Hank, I mean, I really look at marriage as being a gift. And when I'm at church and I look around and I see all these different couples in our church, young, old, and I just look at their relationship and I just think what a special gift they have that they've been given, and just to treat it like that, you know, it's a special thing not to be taken for granted. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for doing this. I appreciate you being a part of our conversation with couples. You can breathe easy now. You're you did your duty, and you did an awesome job. I appreciate you guys joining us.
Well, thanks, Jimmy, for asking us. We were happy to do it.
Awesome. We'll talk to you soon, okay?
Okay.